So happy to have you back in the program. I am sad to see you here, obviously, because your gut has definitely been thrown out of whack with what has been going on with your UTIs over the past year, being on lots of antibiotics, definitely threw off your large intestinal gut balance again. Could be bacteria still in the small intestine. I know the SIBO test in the past was negative. Could also be small intestinal fungal overgrowth, though. But we do know that between the small and large intestine, there is a microbial imbalance that we definitely need to readdress in order to promote long-term healing so that you're not going to get your bloating anymore. You're going to have more regular bowels. Going to heal that lining of the gut integrity, going to support the stomach lining, the immune system there, so that you're not becoming more and more sensitive to foods, to pathogens that may enter the gut. Your immune system is going to be bolstered. So that's what I really want to focus on with you. And just hopefully get you to the point too, where then you're not needing antibiotics because your gut is in a strong place, so that you're not going to keep getting these recurrent infections. So let me know where you're at with your UTIs. I don't know if you've had another one in the past few months, but it seems like it has been getting a little better. And let me know too how you've been doing with that strict diet. I'm not sure if you're still doing that. I know you said it was very, very strict. So let me know how that's been working. But I do feel like we should have like an intuitive way of eating with regards to FODMAPs, because low FODMAP is a little bit more restrictive, but we know it does work for IBS and SIBO and dysbiosis in the large intestine. So we kind of, I would say, like, take it with a grain of salt, like use some low FODMAP strategies to help settle the gut symptoms, but not going full blown low FODMAP. And I also help you with this in your food journals. And I have a lot more resources now than I did previously. Even like I have a low FODMAP video lesson that I'll share with you. So we can definitely, talk about that together and see how you feel about that. So I'm going to share my screen and just go over like your gut report a little bit from the biome. And obviously that's some evidence that we have there that there's large intestinal dysfunction going on. So let me just share my screen with you there. Okay. Just pull it up. Okay. So as we see here, your gut score was fairly low on their rating, on the borderline of okay and poor. The diversity of the microbiome is definitely altered from all those antibiotic rounds. Each round that you take reduces your bacterial species and diversity each time, and the pathogens are able to grow back a little bit more strong and they gain a little bit more resiliency each time. So we really want to work on the good guys, but also focusing on weeding out some of those bad guys that have really settled in and taken hold and are increasing those risks of UTIs. I was surprised to see that Candida was normal, considering Candida is usually high with UTIs, but it may just be some other fungal species that is high that wasn't tested on here. But yeah, I was surprised to see that Candida was at a good level. So the bifidobacterium, which is one of our most important bacteria of good probiotics, was pretty low. So that's something we'll work on increasing. Then we have low Prevotella, which is also a commensal bacteria that we want to increase. The Firmicutes seem pretty good, except for Lactobacillus, which again is one of the most important ones up there with bifidobacteria, Roseburia, Rumino albus, and Ruminococcus. Those were okay. So the Roseburia and Lactobacillus and Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, what has been associated with a healthy microbiome, those are finding to be lower in the large intestinal microbiome. So that's definitely playing a role in your symptoms with bloating and not having standard, healthy bowel movements every day. I know you saw that you are only going about once every 2 to 3 days. So get that up, focus on motility. And you can let me know, when you're getting loose stools, does it tend to be like after those few days where you have constipation? Because sometimes it can be overflow loose stools. that when it's basically can't get through around the constipation or the built up stool, the diarrhea can flow actually like around it. And it's called overflow diarrhea, which I know sounds gross, but it can happen. So let me know if you find it's associated with that, if you having constipation and then you get loose stools. But we will want to be working on that motility. And I would love for you to do the polka dot motility test again, just so I can see your transit time, because we really want it to be under 24 hours. Otherwise, we want to be working on that upper stomach motility that can be damaged with things like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Okay. I know you said also the psyllium husk caps were helping you. I do tend to see people become bloated with that. You did say it was helping you though, so you can let me know if you want to keep them. You can definitely keep taking them. And I definitely think the Manos urinary tract health supplement is great, as well as the collagen that boosts your breakfast protein. You want to be aiming for, if you remember, about 25 to 30 grams of protein a day. And I would love for you to start journaling a little bit so I can see your current intake and your consistent eating patterns. And I know you said you're still on birth control. I do think that is also playing a role here with the amount of antibiotics you've been on, plus the fact that birth control has been shown, even in a low estrone, low hormone birth control, it does reduce our diet diversity in the gut. I wouldn't be a good dietitian if I just ignored that. Not to say that you should stop birth control, but I just want you to have all the awareness and knowledge that it does reduce your gut diversity. It does reduce gallbladder function. And I know you said you were still having some trouble with fat digestion, even after, I'm guessing, not because you wrote that down, even after your gallstone and gallbladder removal, right? Because you did have to get the gallbladder removed, I believe. So remind me about that. Pretty sure it was last year or the year prior, right? When we stopped working together, you had to get, I know you found out you had gallstones. So let me know what happened with that. But I know that you're still having fat digestion issues. So you would benefit right now from a supplement that has bile extract in it when you have high fat meals. So I'll recommend that to you in full script, for especially if you're going out to eat, or you're having, red meat or avocado or like French fries, something like that, or chips that has high fat. Obviously we want to be going for more healthy fat foods. I will be sending you my liver and gut PowerPoint. I have like a video lesson on it now. I might have showed you the slides, but I'll send it to you just for you to get a little refresher. So I will send you the enzyme that contains the bile extract for in case you're having a high fat meal, because we don't want that causing diarrhea. And we want you to be focusing on foods that improve our bile flow. So bitter greens, citrus foods, lemons, limes, dandelion root, all these things that help the liver, even L-glutathione or NAC, not something that, you have to get right now, but things that we can think about in the future. Turmeric, that's an easy one. That's a cheap one that you can get, that you can make like a golden turmeric latte or an iced turmeric latte. Now that's getting a little warmer out. Yeah, I'm kind of getting off the gut report a little bit, but that's okay. I want you, to have my recommendations all in one spot right here for, our initial plan again. And then I hope you can join our group call, which will be next Wednesday. Let me just look up the date. Wednesday, the 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern time is our next live call. And it's a very small, intimate group of girls. And we usually have an educational topic to go along with it, but we're all checking in with one another and our individual plan. So, okay. E. coli was normal, which is good. So not any like overt gut infections going on. And Candida, like we said, was normal. Candida albicans, low Pichia, low Saccharomyces, which is very important. So we want to get the Saccharomyces boulardii especially up. So I'm going to be recommending an S. boulardii supplement for you, because that also helps to clean up the gut and fight off pathogens. S. boulardii is used a lot in clinical practice with C. diff or gut infections. When someone has like severe diarrhea, we use S. boulardii to help fight off pathogens as opposed to using antibiotics. So we're using a yeast-based probiotic to help clean up the gut, help to reduce some of the pathogens to help promote those good guys growing back again. So we want to focus on prebiotics too, but we'll do that mostly through food at this time. And I would recommend something called the Fibermen PHGG. So that is a non-bloat prebiotic formula. So it's a powder, it's tasteless. So that combined with S. boulardii really helps to, one, reduce pathogens, and two, increase the good bacteria going on. So overall, we see the level of dysbiosis here. I am recommending a certain antimicrobial, one that you haven't been on before, because it does work the small and the large intestine, just in case there's some small intestinal issue or overgrowth going on still, or, ever. We were unclear because you only tested for 2 gases of SIBO, but there could be a third one, and fungal overgrowth is never able to be tested for. So there's certain regimen called the biotics regimen duo that's dysbiocide and dysbiocide and, oh my God, FC-Cytal. I use it all the time when I blanked. And this duo is really great for helping to basically weed out these pathogens without killing the good bacteria, acting as an herbal antimicrobial and helping to improve that gut floral balance. So you're not having to keep going on antibiotics, and helps to just rebalance the gut and improve your symptoms again. I know they sent you this kind of whole list of recommendations. They said how your diversity is fair, your fungal levels were normal, but many of your bacterial levels are out of balance. So I do pretty much agree with what they're writing here. These low bacteria, especially Bifidobacteria, Lactobacillus, Saccharomyces, we're really going to focus on those and bolstering those good guys with prebiotic foods, with plant diversity in the diet. Again, I don't really want to heavily focus on low FODMAP. I think I want to just have you focus on balanced eating and really focusing on those good bacterial species by feeding it at half your plate vegetables every day, quarter starch and a quarter lean protein, 2 to 3 fruits a day paired with protein and healthy fats. I think really also focusing on mineral status for you is going to be really important, and adrenal health. It seems like you're in a high state of stress a lot of the time. And that's really not going to be conducive to your gut healing. So we really want to focus on adrenals, cortisol, basically telling your body that's in a safe space, and minerals and adrenal cocktails, what they're called, can help you do that. So there's homemade adrenal cocktails that I'll send you. There's some recipes that make it easy to basically get these high minerals in, like potassium, vitamin C, and magnesium and calcium. So they are really, really great for basically like natural energy spark plugs for your cells, really good for improving that mild constipation that you still have, because we are going to be taking those antimicrobials. You don't want to be constipated. You want to be going to the bathroom every single day. And the mineral status can really help with that. It also may be beneficial for you to really focus on meditation, or coming up with incorporating a yoga practice, maybe trying out some ashwagandha, which is really helpful. So you let me know, we'll kind of write in your roadmap some of your realistic goals for stress management. I can also give you some guided meditation links if you are interested in that. You let me know what you feel like is most realistic for you right now. But adrenal health and stress health, really preventative stress methods, not just trying to do, go for a walk when we're super stressed and overwhelmed. We want something preventative every week for you. That's kind of a routine that helps to mitigate your stress response, really activate your rest and digest mode more easily, get out of the fight or flight mode as much as you can, so that when stressful things do arise, and what's going on in the gut is creating this internal level of physiological stress, right? So we don't want to be adding to it on a day-to-day basis if we're not managing our own stress well in our everyday life. So that's going to be really important too for this overall healing process, especially being on a lot of these antibiotics recently, which raise our cortisol because we're limiting we're reducing and limiting our good bacteria, which help bolster that immune system and that fight or flight, and help reduce that fight or flight response. Okay. I also think using I believe they even wrote it in here, but I agree with the fact here that we want an omega-3 supplement. We do want possibly adaptogens, like I said, with the ashwagandha for your cortisol support. Gut mucosal support would be excellent with colostrum, which is immunoglobulins or IgG support, especially since you've had this, we've been killing off a lot of these good bacteria that are arming the immune system that lie around the gut. A lot of the immune system is at the gut lining. And as we kill a lot of these good bacteria, the immune system can suffer there. So colostrum is a really good way to help repair that gut lining, repair that immune system that's surrounding the gut. So colostrum is a great way to do that, help do that. Same with collagen. I think you should definitely continue the collagen that's helping to provide those amino acids to help heal the gut lining. I do think that those digestive enzymes are good, especially because they have that bile extract. So maybe even like once a day doing a digestive enzyme capsule. Otherwise, you can also try apple cider vinegar or digestive bitters before your meal in water, which, definitely cheap to just buy apple cider vinegar. And that will stimulate that upper stomach digestion, which we know is important for going downstream and for your entire GI tract. It's really good to have that good upper stomach digestion. And I know you did have the history of I believe it was, you had a little low stomach acid in the past and you had that nausea. I'm glad that's a lot better. And those what I would say I would start it with for now. So that the Aspulardi, which I use from Thorne, actually is Sacro B. I do think the prebiotic in regards to the PHGG, the Fiberman would be good for you right now. And then omega-3s, if you're not especially having fish twice a week, but I do think you would benefit from the daily omega-3 supplementation for calming down this inflammation that's going on in the gut and systemically, because obviously it's affecting your bladder, your urinary tract, affecting your metabolic health, your anxiety and the gut are going hand in hand here. So the physical imbalance in the gut is creating this gut-brain axis imbalance. So that's why your anxiety definitely has been revving up in the past few months. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've been missing. Oh, let me actually go to your labs. And I'll share my screen with you there. But a lot of your labs looked very good. As in, I don't really think any other thing metabolically is contributing to your gut symptoms. I really just think it's the imbalance in the gut going on. I don't think you've been tested for celiac. That would also be something good to rule out. Possibly doing a repeat SIBO test, doing it via Trio Smart breath test, which tests for all three gases, the methane, hydrogen, and hydrogen sulfide. That is an option as well. Just if you really, want to know. Otherwise, we can go forward with treating large intestinal and possible small intestinal dysbiosis. Your hemoglobin or your CBC counts looked good. Your metabolic panel looked pretty good. The bilirubin and the alk phos were slightly low. Not really too much a concern there. A lot of all of your electrolytes and your BMP, your basic metabolic panel, were normal. I would love to see maybe the updated iron, ferritin, TIBC iron, the full iron panel, because I know you had a history of those being a little off. Your A1C, your blood sugar management looked really good. Your glucose looked good. Your lipids were very good. Your LDL was maybe borderline off, but that's looking really good, especially for history of gallstones, and gut issues. Your micronutrients, I would like to see vitamin D, vitamin B12. I believe you might have had a history of that being low. For some reason, I couldn't find your old labs. But I'll check back in your notes again from your previous program. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'll check back, and if I can find your previous labs, I'll put them in here as well and just date them back to a few years ago, just so we have a baseline. but I think it would be good, doesn't have to be right the second, because I know you just got these other labs done, but you got them done in October. So you could even go back soon and ask for some updated labs and just fill in some of these gaps. If you're able to, it would be good to see the CRP, which is the marker of inflammation going on in the gut and the body. So it doesn't tell you where the inflammation is happening if it's high. It just tells you that there's inflammation going on somewhere in the body. But that is always good to know if your body perceives a state of inflammation. And your TSH was good, 1.6. So I really don't suspect any thyroid issues going on, but it always is good to see T4, T3, TPO antibodies, because TSH is coming from the pituitary gland in the brain, whereas T3, T4, TPO is coming from the thyroid itself. But again, I don't really suspect any of that because your TSH is not sounding off any alarms. These I wouldn't recommend the hormones because they're not going to be accurate on birth control. Just gonna write it in. And then you could, also look at Lyme disease, even Epstein-Barr, food allergy panel. Just some of these things can help just look deeper into gut issues and rule things out. But again, that's up to you and what you want to go back and ask for. But those are just some of my overall recommendations for now. As you get back started into everything, I will send you the recommendations from Full Script, which I had just mentioned, just to, again, start targeting the imbalances that were recreated after these rounds of antibiotics, really target the abdominal bloating, distension, gas, urgency to release bowels. And that I have seen a lot with SIBO, where it goes back and forth. So it could very well be that it is SIBO now, going hand in hand with the large intestine, dysbiosis. The fatigue is really, really common with SIBO. It's good though, you're not really having any like altered colored stools, or you're not having much, I don't think you're having a lot of like bile issues or gallstone issues, but let me know if are you avoiding fat? And if so, does that really just clear that up? Or, what is really happening when you do have fat nowadays? Let me know. And let me know when you're getting nausea. Is it when you are very bloated, or is it when you have something high fat? I really would want to associate it with one or the other, or maybe it could be both too. If you're having upper stomach gases going upwards from SIBO, it could be that where the gases then push up and put pressure on our stomach, where we then get nausea. Or it could just be from if you are having gallstone issues that are lingering. So I think we have a good plan to start with. I'd love to again see you journal a little bit. I'll put some goals also in your roadmap where we can then discuss what is realistic for you. We'll talk about a water goal. A good water goal for you right now would be about 80 to 90 ounces of water a day. So I'll put that in your roadmap. I think 3 times a week is definitely a good goal to start with for exercising. I know you said it hasn't been that consistent. So I think, or even 2, if you haven't been doing any, 2 to 3 times a week consistently exercising, I think is a great place to start, just because we know increasing in exercise is really, really good for the microbiome diversity. So we're actually helping to boost the bifidobacteria, lactobacilli when we're exercising consistently every week. Okay. And obviously ask me any questions after you watch this video, anything you want to add, follow up with, please let me know. I really want to help get you even off a lot of these allergy medications. They do go hand in hand with gut issues. So as we progress, we can see if we can we may need some histamine support or antihistamine support, where there's certain enzymes that we can take that help break down excess histamine in the gut if needed. But our goal is that we get rid of these pathogens that are creating this excess histamine that are making your histamine bucket overflow in your body. And that's when we see these high allergy levels where you need Zyrtec and Singulair and Flonase and things like that. So I think this is a good place to start again. And if you can fill out that histamine questionnaire, that would be helpful. And then we can see if we want to have, like we said, that histamine support. But I'm not going to overload you with certain things to buy, so we'll wait a little bit and, start with what we're going to start with, and we'll progress as we move forward and see how your symptoms do with addressing some of this bacterial imbalance, as well as adrenal health. I want to really emphasize that because we really want to be focusing on anti-stress, meditation, yoga, and deep breathing exercises, a few deep breaths before meals. These are going to be really, really crucial for your long-term healing and really helping to tell the adrenal system and your cortisol levels that you're in a safe environment and that you're coming out of fight or flight mode as much as you can. Okay, I'm really excited to work with you again, and I will talk to you very soon, Ashley. Bye.